I am here with the first video in the series of Parents and Grandparents PR Program 2022. In today's video, we will talk about, are you eligible to sponsor? I mean submit the application even though you got an invitation to apply for PGP 2022. Can you act as a representative for your parents' application? How many accounts are required on the permanent residence portal? Which application forms are required by sponsor? And which application forms are required by principal applicant and all the dependents? Which supporting documents have to be submitted by the sponsor and which supporting documents have to be submitted by the principal applicant and all the dependents? What are the specifications for required documents? Hello everyone, welcome to Canadian Charisma. Hope you all doing great and staying safe. If you are new here, I provide information and free advice about Canadian immigration and help people to apply for Canada PR, which can save them a lot of money. Without a further delay, let's start today's video. So first question is, are you eligible to submit the application? That means if you submit your application without meeting the requirements, they will refuse it. They will reject it. So to check your eligibility, you have to check your family size and income requirements according to the family size. You must meet the income requirements for 2019, 2020 and 2021 according to your family size. If you have a family of 4, you're supposed to meet these income requirements here. Family of 6, this one, and family of 7, this one. So how to check the family size? Let's see this example. So first of all, we will count sponsor. Sponsor means suppose I am inviting my parents. I am applying PR for my parents. Then I am a sponsor. So sponsor 1. Then any dependent children. If I have 2 kids, then I will count 1 plus 2, 3. If I have only 1 kid, then we are only 2. So 1 plus 1 is 2. So I have only 1 kid. So I will go 1 sponsor plus 1 kid, 2 people. Now go to the next step, spouse or common law partner. If you are married or living in common law relationship, then you need to count that person also in the family size. It means now we are 3. I am married, so we are 3. If your spouse have any dependent children, so if your spouse have any children from previous marriage or adoption or something, you need to count that person also in the family size. So I do not have here, so I will not count. So I am right now, I am family of 3, me, my son and my spouse. If there is any dependent children here, you need to count that too. So 3. Principal applicant. If you are applying for both parents, then one of the parent will act as a principal applicant. In my case, suppose my father, he is acting as a principal applicant. If you are applying for only one person, like only mom or only dad, then he or she is the principal applicant. So now my dad, principal applicant, we have 4 now, and the spouse of the principal applicant. Even though they are coming to Canada or not, doesn't matter. Suppose you are applying for only your father, but your mom is not coming to Canada, you are not applying for her, but she will also be the part of family. You need to count her in the family size. So principal applicant and the spouse of the principal applicant. Now here we are 5 people. Next, let's move to step number 4. Persons the sponsor or co-signer previously sponsored whose undertaking is still in effect. So if you sponsored someone before and your undertaking is still in effect, you need to count that people or that person also in the family size. Suppose my husband sponsored his parents before and I was the co-signer. So now that undertaking is still in effect. So here if I count my mother-in-law and father-in-law, so we are 7 now. So my family size is 7 people. If anyone has, like these people also have dependent children, then you are responsible for them too. They also include in the family size. So for me it's a 7. If you are not sure that your undertaking is still in effect or not, you can refer this table here, accept Quebec This table is eligible for all the provinces. You can check according to if you sponsor spouse, common law partner before any dependent children, parents or other relatives. You can check here the length of undertaking and check that if your undertaking is still in effect or not. Now if you are sure your family size, go back to this table and check the income requirement. If you are eligible, go ahead and submit the application. Next question is, can you act as a representative for your parents' application? Yes, you can. If you want to prepare or help prepare your parents and grandparents' application and you want to communicate with IRCC on their behalf, this would mean that you would be acting as their representative. Only thing you need to do, you must submit a use of representative IMM 5476 form and you are good to go. You can act as their representative. You can talk to IRCC on their behalf and submit their application. We will talk about this form in detail in coming videos. The next question is, how many accounts are required on the permanent residence portal? I would say only one, because many people are confused that sometimes you can see in instruction guides that they said you need to submit two applications, one for sponsor and one for the principal applicant. That's why people are confused. You need to create only one account there. All the forms submitted by sponsor and the principal applicant and the dependents, they all go in one account in one application. If you are applying separately for your parents, then it's a different scenario. You are applying two separate applications. But if you are applying them together as a family, then you need to create only one account, even though you are acting as a representative of your parents. So you would create that account on behalf of your parents to complete and submit their application. And the application to sponsor, sponsorship agreement and undertaking IMM 1344, which is the application for sponsor, also go in that same account. To create this account, you need to go to the permanent residence portal. The address is here and I will leave it in the description below. Click on that, go create your account and you can start your application. If you need help to create an account and start the application, you can get all the detailed information in my coming videos. So don't forget to subscribe, like and hit the bell icon. Next question is, which application forms are required by sponsor? First form is application to sponsor, sponsorship agreement and undertaking, IMM 1344. So first you need to download this form, complete it digitally on your computer, sign it electronically. So this form need to be signed by sponsor, spouse if co-signing means co-signer, and the principal applicant, all three of them. You need to print your name, that means you are signing it electronically, then validate it and upload it back. Other than IMM 0003, all the forms need to download first, complete them on computer and upload back in the portal. Next form is financial evaluation for parents and grandparents sponsorship, IMM 5768. This form is for your financial verification. So you need to complete this form. On the question number 8 and 16, you need to say yes. If you say yes, then they will get your all financial information from CRA directly. Next form is income source for the sponsorship of parents and grandparents, IMM 5748. You only have to complete this form if you are answering no to question number 8 and question number 16 in IMM 5768. It means you are not giving IRCC permission to get your financial information from CRA directly. So you need to fill this form here for your financial information. The last form is IMM 5409. You have to complete this form only if you are in common law relationship. If you are not married, suppose I am married, so I do not have to submit this form. I will submit my marriage certificate there. But if I am living in common law relationship, then I have to submit this form. So these are the only forms have to be completed by the sponsor. The next question is, which application forms are required by the principal applicant? First form is generic application form for Canada, IMM 0008. This form need to be completed by the principal applicant for themselves and for all the dependents on behalf of them. This form you cannot download to computer, complete and then upload. So principal applicant need to provide all the information, personal information about the principal applicant and all other dependents. In my case, my dad will complete this form. I mean, I'm helping them, but on behalf of them, my dad will complete this form, and then this form should be completed by my dad for my mom, and if there is any other dependent. You can add up to 5 dependents in this form. You have to start this form digitally in the portal and complete it there. This form need to be completed by the principal applicant for themselves and for all the dependents on behalf of them. Principal applicant will provide all the information, personal information in this form for themselves and then add dependent and provide their information there too. In my case, I will complete my dad's personal information, means my principal applicant is my dad, so I will provide all the information there and then add my mom and other dependent in this form. The second form is Schedule A background declaration form, IMM 5669. Third one, additional family information form, IMM 5406. Fourth one is supplementary information, your travel information, IMM 5562. So form number 2, 3, 4, these all forms. The principal applicant must complete these forms for themselves and all the dependents who are 18 years of age or older, whether they are accompanying or not, and are not Canadian citizen or permanent residents. Means principal applicant must complete this form for themselves. Then the principal applicant need to complete this form for all the dependents who are 18 years age or older, even though they are coming to Canada or not. Unless they are Canadian citizen or permanent resident, then you do not have to complete this form for them. You do not have to complete this form for your dependent who is Canadian citizen or permanent resident. Next form is use of representative. If you are helping your parents to file their application, then this form you need to submit this IMM 5476 as a representative, and the last form IMM 409 only if common law relationship, means if your parents are not married, they are living in common law relationship, then you need to submit this form, otherwise this form is not required. The next question is, which supporting document have to be submitted by the sponsor? So first of all, sponsor need to submit the document status in Canada document. Sponsor must include a copy of the same status in Canada document you submitted with your interest to sponsor form in 2020 with your application to sponsor your parents and grandparents. So when you applied for interest to sponsor in 2020, you filled a small little form on computer, and that time you submitted your status in Canada document. Whatever that document was, it was a permanent card or record of landing or Canadian citizen certificate, whatever that document was, you must submit the same document again now with the application. So acceptable documents was permanent resident card, both sides you need to provide that. Record of landing IMM 1000 only if you did not get a permanent resident card. Confirmation of permanent residence IMM 5292 or IMM 5688 if someone have that, or Canadian citizenship certificate or card, both side of that too. The second document is letter of invitation to apply. You must upload the invitation to apply letter, whichever you get in your email now that you can submit the application for your parents, and deadline is this. You need to upload that document with the confirmation number. Third document, sponsored marriage certificate. So if your spouse is co-signing the application, then you need to show the relationship between both of you. So you need to submit your marriage certificate for that. Status in Canada document for the co-signer. If your spouse is co-signing, then you need to provide their status in Canada document too. Next document required by the sponsor is the proof of sponsor relationship to the principal applicant. means you need to prove your relationship with your parents. For that, if you have a birth certificate, very good, you can just upload your birth certificate, means sponsored birth certificate. If someone does not have birth certificate, then you need to provide other document which can prove your relationship with an explanation letter. For example, if you are an Indian person, then in India we can provide the copy of Indian passport, that passport first and last page which is showing their parents name with an explanation letter, or the secondary school certificate which have already parents name on it, and you can provide that with an explanation letter. These are the only documents need to be submitted by the sponsor. The next question is, which supporting documents have to be submitted by the principal applicant and the dependents? So very first document is passport or a travel document for the principal applicant and each accompanying dependents. Means if my father and mother both, I'm applying for both, I need to submit both birth certificate even though there's other dependents back there. So only people who are coming to Canada, you're applying for their PR, need to submit their passport. You need to provide first, last and any page which has stamp on it. You need to provide all pages copy there. The second document, proof of principal applicant's relationship to the spouse or common law partner. So they need to provide, principal applicant need to provide the proof of relationship with their spouse or common law partner. So for the spouse, principal applicant need to provide the marriage certificate. If they do not have the marriage certificate, then again I can only tell in the case of Indian scenario, you can provide the passport's last page as their marriage certificate proof. Means copy of Indian passport of the principal applicant and the spouse, first and last page showing their spouse's name on it. And you can provide with this an affidavit explaining that why you do not have the marriage certificate. For other countries, you should have something which can prove your relationship with your spouse. Then you can provide that document with an affidavit. You are good to go. The next document is proof of principal applicant's relationship to the dependent children. This is, if applicable, means if any dependent children is coming with them, you're applying for their PR as well, then you need to provide this document, otherwise you are not required. Next document is, you need to provide resume of the principal applicant and all the dependents 18 years of age and older. So you need to provide a resume. We will talk about this resume in coming videos in detail, that how to write a resume. Otherwise it's simple, just you need to provide their detailed information in the resume. Next, one recent photo of the principal applicant and each accompanying dependent. The last thing you need to do, that pay your fees, and then attach the single receipt with the sponsorship fees, the application processing fees and the biometrics fees. If you are applying for one parent, otherwise altogether for both parents. To avoid a delay in the processing of your application, please ensure you pay your biometrics fees when you are submitting your application fees. You can also pay the right of permanent residence fees at the same time if you want to. Otherwise, you can pay it later when they will ask for it. So these are all the documents which need to be submitted by the principal applicant and the dependents. Next is specification of the supporting documents. So when you are submitting these documents, you need to scan them, save them in your computer, and then upload in the required field or required column, whatever you get in that portal. So first of all the document must be in English or French. If your document is not in English or French, they are in another language, make sure you get it translated into English or French by a certified translator. The accepted file types, when you are saving them in your, keeping them in your computer, the file type can be PDF, JPG, JPEG, PNG, doc or docx. Maximum file size can be 4 MB, not more than that. When you are giving the name to your documents, you are labeling them. So there are the specifications for that you need to provide the last name, first name, document type and number. For example, my mom's name is Anna Smith. Anna is the first name, Smith is the last name. I am providing proof of education document. So I'm writing Smith hyphen Anna hyphen proof of education hyphen 1, because if I have 2 or 3 documents proof of education, I will write for the next one 2 and 3 like this. So that's how you need to copy all the documents. You need to name all the documents in your computer so you can upload them later in the portal. Suppose you are providing your passport as a travel document and as a marriage certificate. So what you need to do, when you are saving your passport, what you need to do, you can write Smith Anna passport 1, because or passport 1 means front and then 2 means last. And same passport is going for the proof of marriage certificate. You will write Smith Anna proof of marriage and then 1. That's how you need to label your documents. File names can only contain the following characters: A to Z capital letters, A to Z small letters, 0 to 9 numbers, hyphen, underscore and dot. So that's all for today. Next video will be about how to create an account in permanent residence portal, how to start the application, and how to complete IMM 0008. Until then, gather all your documents and keep watching Canadian Charisma. See you soon. Thanks for watching.